the presentation have the slides of the actual presentation, while the text is taken from the actual paper. It is obvious that it's a computer generated. One thing is very important is that pronounced Mijak.
The dawn of the Feast of Petrovden, St. Peter's Day, 29 June, Julian/the 12th of July Gregorian calendar, 1995 saw a new flag in the Mijaks village of Trzęch. The celebration of the 150th anniversary of the construction of the Church of St. Peter and Paul in the village just began. A white flag with red decorations was displayed in the church's yard. This previously unknown flag was presented as an all-Mijaks symbol, as a tribal identity flag, Figure 1. After 1995, nearly all the settlements in Mala Reka, where Mijaks live, or used to, began to display this flag during the village celebrations, especially weddings. The development of this flag and its promotion as an eternal flag of all Mijak tribes is an interesting phenomenon to follow from a vexillologic perspective. This flag is referred to as Trzęch's flag, as it is a reconstruction of Mijak's flag drawing in his 1941 book. Very soon, the idea of existence of an ancient flag of a Macedonian tribe entered the public discourse. The appearance of the flag in question happened at the moment when the national flag with 16-rayed sun flag was forcibly changed by Greek embargo, and a new more politically correct flag was accepted, which was not received with enthusiasm by the people. So the Mijaks flag got a new dimension, as national symbols from old times that was once forbidden and thus forgotten. Widely accepted idea that flag must be understood only as an identity symbol, similar to the national flag, soon made the public searching for the identity dimension in this newly discovered flag of one of the Macedonian tribes. In order to understand this phenomenon, we should try to define the key terms. Wedding flags. Flags can be used to convey a message and can be important symbols of national pride. The flag has four basic functions and applications. It can be used as a decoration, signal, relic, or symbol. The flag as a decoration is when flags are being used to decorate a given spaces, such as decorating for events, parties, etc. Even state flags can sometimes be used merely as decoration, such as flags in front of a hotel. Signal flags are used, for example, on ships, to communicate different messages. Here we look at two types of flags. The flag as a relic. These flags indicate some kind of action or communication which is primarily aimed not only at other people, but at the deity. Of this type are procession and ritual flags, which also include wedding flags. The primary role of the ritual wedding flag is to play a part in the wedding ceremony, drawing special attention through the rite of decorating it, and its role in the entire wedding ceremony. Wedding flags are ritual flags, with the primary role of communicating with the divine, but also with other participants in the ritual. It is being given a magical power to protect from the evil, and to give blessing to the young couple and their new family and to be fruitful and multiply. Decoration of the flag was part of the overall preparation of the bride, the groom, and their homes, and is associated with almost all the customs of the wedding. In this case, the wedding flags had a ritual function related to the wedding, although used by a specific group, rather than being used as a symbol of identity of a tribe or territory, or as an insurgent/military unit flag. The wedding flag were only used for special occasions. The flag as a symbol. These flags contain an emotional element that accompanies the symbolism of identity. Thus the value of the flag exceeds its material value. As a result, the flag itself acquires certain sacredness. The flag as an identity symbol identifies the owner, indicating his presence, function, position, property. The flag is a symbol of the unity and identity of a given group. It is also used to unite the group. It is a symbol of group identity and authority, a symbolic representation of common values and continuity of existence, enabling coordination of action, collective memory, tradition, and history. Through the flag, the individual is identified as part of a group by those in the group, but also by others outside the group. The flag often has more than one function, although one is usually primary. Thus, the state, or former state, flag can be used primarily in a relictic role, when used as a wedding flag, Figure 2. Each generation gives the relationship to the symbol new meanings and importance. Those are created under the influence of socio-economic political relations. Thus, the meanings and importance, although subjective, becomes objective, so symbols by one generation might be perceived quite differently than by another. Search for the national flag. The flag of the Federal Republic of Macedonia was designed in the summer of 1943, according the design for partisan flags of the peoples of Yugoslavia, was set in Stolis, in 1941, the national flag plus a red five-pointed star. The red flag was taken from the insurgent flags of 1903 Linden, Street Elijah Day, Uprising, and the red star fimbriated yellow, was placed in the canton. The flag was empowered by Constitution of the 31st of December 1946, Figure 3. The flag design was very similar to the flags of the Communist Party, USSR and People's Republic of China. This flag was used for almost half a century, Figure 4. During the early 1990s, Macedonia took its first steps as an independent state, for which it was symbolically unprepared. The initial design of national flag was chosen in a 1992 competition, proposal by Kostadin Tanchev Dinkata, Figure 5. And was included in the Commission's official draft law on the flag, where it is red with a yellow, golden, sun with 16 primary rays that break into 32 rays. But the official flag voted on was a different design by MP Todor Petrov with a 16-rayed sun, now known as the Sun of Kutlesh/Star of Vienna, already used by Macedonian diaspora from 1986, which was finally passed on the 11th of August 1992, Figure 6. The flag was met with huge hostility by neighboring Greece, leading to a 3-year embargo, and not allowed in the Macedonian flag display in front of the UN building in New York. With the interim agreement signed between Greece and Macedonia, a new flag was to be designed and the display old flag to be strongly discouraged. During the fall of 1995, a secret process for designing the new flag took place. The Guchev-Dinkata proposal with the sun with divergent rays, was voted on the 5th of October 1995, Figure 7. From a vexillographic point of view, the flag's design attributes changed but the symbols represented did not. The flag remained red with a yellow sun. The sun with convergent rays replaced one with divergent rays, it did not lose its attributes or gain others. The new flag started to be accepted very slowly. The old flag was never abandoned, and is still used by some people. The old flag is seen by some as a national, ethnic, flag, while the new is seen as a state flag. The first flag after the independence had to be changed only 3 years later in 1995. This led people to return to search of ancient symbols as symbols of group identity. In this period, the idea for single all-Mijak flag as an identity symbol rose. One of the multitudes of wedding flags was chosen by several individuals to become an identity flag, similar to the national flag, something that the original wedding flags never had. Mijaks. The Mijaks are a subgroup of ethnic Macedonians inhabiting the valley of the river Rodica in western Macedonia, an area called Reka, meaning river, Figure 8. Today, most of the region is part of the municipality of Mavrovo Rostosh and smaller parts belong to the municipalities of Gostiva and Ibar. Besides the villages of Galiknik, Lazaropol, Trezanch, Gari, Osage, Rosoki, Sels, and Sushika, there are Mijak enclaves, Ilovek in Kichevo, Orsh and Popradisht in the area of Azot, Smilevo, and in Krushevo. Due to the high mountains and the lack of conditions to engage in agriculture, the Mijaks were mainly engaged in animal husbandry. The Mijaks were an endogamous tribe, marring only within, so they remained intact and preserved tribal features until very late, figure 9. The etymology of the name is unclear. According the traditional belief, the name comes from the first-person plural pronoun maj, we. According other, from frequent washing and cleaning, maj means washing. They identified themselves as Mijaks in short, and Macedonians in a long form. Lately, a myth is constructed about the glorious history, social, and cultural characteristics of the Mijaks, based on statements that they are of boyar aristocratic origin. In that myth, an all-Mijaks ethnic identity symbol plays a huge role. Mijaks flags in history. Several authors mention the usage of Mijaks flags throughout history. After the fall of Macedonia under Roman rule, Rome allowed some of the Western Macedonian Slavs to use their hitherto military flags only at weddings. Also that the Mijak after the Battle of Kosovo, 1389, settled in the Reka region, and that the cross flag they use is actually a Kosovo flag, which became a public symbol for the Mijaks. Further, that the Mijaks were allowed to use their flag freely within the Ottoman Empire after 1689, because they remained faithful to the Sultan in the battles against Piccolomini. Both authors do not include sources for their claims. 1. It is 7 or 23 century old flag. 2. It was military flag. 3. There was a single design flag. All of these claims are most probably not possible. First, there is no proof found so far that the Mijak flag, with specific design, is being used 7 centuries as a military flag, let alone 23 centuries. We do not have info of any flag from the wider region to make analogy with. It is highly unlikely, and it is probably due to romantic view on history. Jonovski writes about flags, plural, and does not mention cross. The cross as a central symbol does not appear on most of the previously known Mijak wedding flags. On the other hand, Jonovski lists some interesting symbols, the bear and the hand, which we do not find on the previous flags. Second, those are flags only used for weddings. If almost every family had their own unique flag, then using them on battlefield would make total confusion. There is only one indirect mention in a military context. Out of several epic poetry regarding the decorating and displaying the flag, there is only one verse. What is the noise in the heroes' yards? High flags rose, over wide and high verandas. Whether a hero to war will go, or getting ready to take a girl. Here we have a sample of stylistic device called Slavic antithesis, where a question is asked, then a negative answer is given, and finally the real explanation is provided. The first 2 parts, a question and a negative answer, are descriptive and are simply there to increase the power of the third part, the explanation. So we cannot draw conclusion from this poetic stylistic device. Third, there is not one identity or military flag, but multitude of family wedding flags with equal value and strength. Many of the authors Jonovski, Trzew, Verkovic mentions flags in plural. Also we have several flags preserved today, and many witnessed on photos. The largest collection of Mijak wedding flags is described by Buzharovsky. However, one particular flag started to become the Mijaks flag, the Trzew flag. Trzew's Mijak flag. In Georgy Trzew's 1941 book about the Mijaks, in the chapter Mijak flag, there is a black and white drawing and description of a wedding flag from the Mala Reka region. He writes that the flags was used exclusively for weddings in the groom's house, figure 10. The flag in the drawing has basic construction concept identical to the fresco of Street Andrei, Matka, figure 11. The flag are white, 7-5, made of silk or other material. The drawing shows 2 additional colors, light and dark. The flag is bordered with 10 dark and 11 light triangles on the upper and lower sides, and 8 dark and 9 light triangles on the hoist and fly sides, with 2 light triangles touching the corners and pendants on the fly corners. In the middle is a white circle, edged by 42 alternating light and dark triangles with a bright bezant cross in the middle. In the 4 areas between the arms is the text Car, is HS Nika, Jesus Christ the Conqueror, in dark color. This represents the prosphora, communion bread in Orthodoxy. In the 4 corners are small dark-colored figures facing the center of the flag. On the hoist side is a dragon, above, and a double-headed eagle without wings, with a cross with 4 furisons, fire steels, on its chest. Below, on the fly side is a lion or wolf, above, and a crescent, with horns upward, with a star, below. Atop the staff, which is painted a light dark, per bend, is a lily cross with a bezant. Trzew actually responds to an article by a Colonel Street Stamatov about how the lion found itself on the Bulgarian flag. Stamatov claims that the Mijak flag with a lion is the same as the Bulgarian flag kept since the fall of Bulgaria to the Ottomans in 1395. Following the belief that each symbol on this flag should be someone's state symbol, Trzew explains that the other charges symbolize the rule of Byzantium and Serbia, eagle, Albania, dragon, and Turkey, crescent with a star. Such an explanation forgets that it is a ritual wedding flag, instead giving it chronographic features with state elements of previous occupiers and administrators. Vexillology knows no flag that represents all occupiers over 10 centuries and yet is the identity flag of a given group. This flag has not survived. The idea for the revival of the flag in question, out of multitude of other wedding flags, the initial board for organizing the 150th anniversary of building of the church in Trzęch was published in Trzęcki Letopis. Further research is likely to uncover other family-related Mijak flags. From the observations so far, we have decided to adopt the Mijak flag described in the Book of the Mijaks by Georgi Trzew as a common tribal symbol of the entire Mijak tribe, as well as the flag described by Tomo Smiljanik, Bradinar from Trzęch. Bozharovsky publishes an attempt for reconstruction of this Bradinar flag only in 2021, Fig. 12. This flag is from another type that would be discussed later. Since its initial appearance, Trzew's flag has been modified in 2 respects, Figure 1. First, the cross with 4 fire steels on the breast of the wingless double-headed eagle was simply overpainted with red. In the modern context, the symbol of the cross with 4 fire steels is perceived as a purely Serbian national symbol, Figure 13. The second is adding a third color, yellow, to bring the family flag closer to the colors of the state flag of Macedonia, Figure 14. This flag was only introduced as the sole Mijak symbol in 1995, not before. The availability of Trzew's book probably made this flag popular. It should not be called a Mijak collective flag because Mijaks are no longer living permanently on their territory. Or it is just an ordinary flag that flies in a part of a municipality where the Mijaks lived continuously until 1970. In the last decade of the 20th century there is a tendency to give another dimension to the wedding flag's identity, which is seen in the phenomenon of family flag, namely the representation of a family flag for all Mijaks, a concept foreign to the time when wedding flags actively were used. Other Mijaks flags. In addition to most famous Trzew flag, other Mijak flags exist, with some similarities but also enough differences to classify them as another type. 2 are held in the Museum of Macedonia in Skopje, Figure 15 and 16, and 1 is of the Josefovci family from Sels, kept at Pandilovci family in Australia, Figure 17. All are made of white fabric and have a circular element in the middle, surrounded by other elements along the sides and diagonals. In a publication of the Ethnological Museum in Skopje, from 1950 there are 2 additional wedding flags of Muratovci family, Figure 18, and of unknown family, Fig. 19, from Galiknik from the museum, that now are not available. Bozharovsky gives images and reconstructions of other Mijaks flags. First there are 2 attempts for reconstruction of descriptions given by Ludwig Kuber, Figure 20 and 21. Bozharovsky also include attempt for reconstruction of Asievsky family flag, figure 22. There is another attempt for reconstruction of an unknown family flag from Galiknik, figure 23. Also there is partial attempt for reconstructions of flags from photos from Lazaropol, where the flag is seen only partially, figure 24. The flag of Tomo Smiljanik, Bradinar is of another flag type, that could also be seen also in Krushevo Museum donated by the Tomalevsky family, figure 25. Tomalevsky originates from Galiknik and migrated to Krushevo some year in 1750. It is incomplete, 2 parts are preserved. By analogy with the others, it can be concluded that the missing part is probably mirrored the preserved part. It is a gonfanon with 3 streamers. The central is white with 2 red footprints in the center. Between the feet is a black stylized figure of a man, and below it on both sides there are 3 yellow crosses. Above the side crosses are 2 figures of angels. There are 3 green crosses under the feet. The side panels are red with 2 yellow and 3 green crosses. Of this type there are 2 flags photographed in 1932 to 1933 taken by Jews for Bumsky and by Tovo, Porch, today the municipality of Macedonsky Brod, some 70 kilometers west of Reka, includes images of several wedding flags, from which the flags can't be completely reconstructed. But 2 such flags are well flown and can be studied, figure 26. The first is a gonfalon of 3 vertical panels ending in semicircular streamers. The first panel is white and has 5 circular motifs that form a cross, with a cross below it. The second panel is probably a light blue and has a cross, with something resembling a heart above it. The third panel is probably red and has a figure of an angel in white, a human figure with wings instead of arms. Above the angel is a cup and a circular motif, and on the sides of the cup are a spear, knife, and a spoon, unmistakable symbols of communion. The second flag is gonfalon but raised on a staff, again with 3 panels. On the first is an angel and a circular motif, on the second a cross, and the third, although obscured, appears to repeats the first. After the World War I, the national flag slowly took over their role, especially after the WE. Today, the state flag almost always serves in the role of the wedding flag. But there are also new trends. At a wedding celebration at the house of the Mijaks restaurant a wedding flag was used, figure 27. Making and decorating flags. Several epic poems are giving an insight of making, decorating and usage of the Mijaks wedding flags, which are of great significance. Weddings did not start without the flag being decorated, arranged. Through the verses of this song, we learn that the flags were made by masters in the following 3 trades: tailor, carpenter, and goldsmith. The tailor sewed the fabric of the flag, carpenter made the staff which was painted by turning the colors around the wood itself, and the goldsmith made the silver cross on top. The flags were made of linen, which is difficult to handle, so it should soak in water for 21 days before starting to work with it, figure 28. The weddings were held 1 week before a holiday. 2 days before the beginning of the wedding, the flag is decorated. The wedding flag is decorated with a cross on top of the staff, flowers, and an apple with 4 old coins pressed halfway into the apple, so as to be seen. The flowers were picked by a young girl, with living parents from 3 gardens, rose, calendula, and basil. A wreath is made from the flowers, which together with the cross is tied to the staff of the flag. During the decoration of the flag, appropriate songs are sung. After decorating the flag, and firing 3 bullets from a rifle, the flag was placed in the groom's house by singing a song appropriate to this custom as well. The decorated flag is then placed in a place visible from the groom's house to be seen by everyone. The Bayraktar, flag bearer, was in charge of the flag during the wedding. The Bayraktar rode on horseback at the head of the wedding procession with the flag, when going for the bride and when going to the church for the wedding. The custom of decorating the flag can still be seen today during the cultural event called the Galiknik wedding. During the annual event today, the family cross flag is replaced with the Macedonian state flag. The Mijak flags are known as cross flags due to the representation of a cross atop the staff. While we do not always see a representation of a cross on the flag itself, on the fabric, a cross always forms the finial of the flagstaff, decorated according to the folk wedding beliefs. Bozharovsky gives many more poems regarding the decoration and using the flags. Conclusion? In the process when expression of national identity through symbols, in this case flag, is suppressed, it is naturally that this void would be filled with other means. So when Republic of Macedonia was forced to change its flag, which was also perceived as people's, ethnic, flag, a search for alternative ancient symbols and especially flags was underway. The search was among historical flags. There are records and photos of the use of such flags throughout Macedonia, but in the eyes of the public mostly the Mijak flags that became popular. Especially one, a black and white drawing in 1941 book, was seen as a good basis. It was colored in the national colors, and a small inconvenient detail redrawn. Then it was presented as a flag of all the Mijaks, on Street Peter Day 1995, and thus giving a national identity to a wedding flag that never had it.